Hi, happy Monday. I'm Cheryl, and this is the men's mini Bible study called To Serve with Love. Before I get started, let me wish you and yours now a beautiful, Merry Christmas. Those of you who may not celebrate Christmas, may you enjoy time off. May you enjoy family, friends, food. And for them who deal in solitude, may you be renewed, get an aha moment, a revelation that you need for the days ahead. Whatever way, I wish you the best. Today, the man in the spotlight is Samson. You know him, right? Samson and Delilah. They are the story of a man and a woman that's known the world over. I wish I could say the story of a love story, but far from a love story. But what can you, the man, learn and hear from me in the amount of time that I'm going to speak to you today about Samson? Are you a man who is strong in an area and weak in another? Stop for a minute. Ask yourself, are you strong in this area and weak in another? That's the first thing I think that men should speak to themselves about. Not in fear, not in embarrassment, but to get your egos in check. Samson, we learn from the very start, had weaknesses in his personality, in his character. No matter, he had the strength that God gave him, supernatural strength. He had weaknesses in his character, weaknesses in his personality. It sounds like to me Samson was an only child. And the reason why I say I think he was an only child is because the Bible tells us that even though he, as a young man, was given strict rules how to operate, not only according to God's bylaws for his community, but by way of his parents, he made them go get a woman that he should not have had. He made them. I want her. He had a natural fit. Give me her. He was attracted to a woman, a type that he shouldn't have been, according to the bylaws of his community. But isn't that the case? What we don't supposed to have, it's what seems to call out to us, right? What we should not be giving our attention to, it gets our attention. Well, that was the case with Samson. So his family did what he asked, what he made them do, what he kept begging them to do. And so he married someone, and it was not to work out, and it did not work out. But then he went on from there and did what he really came to be known for. Let's first talk about his strength. We see so many buff people, and in the case today, men. Oh, I see a lot of men that got pecs and, the abs and the arms. I mean, right, machine gun. But you could tell that they're strong, or they should be strong based on their physical presentation. But I don't think it was the case with Samson. He must look like a regular old Joe. And that's what made him stand out so much in the thoughts of people. They would point and say, he's so strong. And people probably would say, oh, no way. Oh, yeah, but he's really strong. And sure enough, they would come to find out how strong he really was. One time the Bible tells us not only had he been with a harlot, we call them prostitutes today, But the Bible said he had laid with her all night. Now, supposedly, that's supposed to weaken you, say all the athletic teams, right? But the Bible said he had laid with a harlot all night and get up early in the morning. And the people, his enemy, had laid an ambush for him. But he not only took away the gates to the city, but all the posts and everything, he upchucked it all, put it over his shoulders, and walked away. Yeah, I think he looked something like Gomer Pyle or, Barney Fife, but he had this supernatural strength. That's just me playing around with it. But I don't think it was obvious when you see his presentation. But what was obvious is his hair. He was told not to cut his hair. He must thought he looked pretty good with the hair because he was doing other things he shouldn't have done, but he did not take a razor to his own head. Now, he wanted a woman who actually was no good for him. So that's my next question to you. Are you affiliated with a woman that you shouldn't be? You know that she's no good for you, but you like getting what you get from this woman, but you know she's no good for you. That would be like Samson. He knew the woman was no good for him. How did he know? Because she kept asking him, where do your strength lie? And then after keep asking him, the Bible says that she would nag him. And I already know no man likes a nagging woman. The Bible even says a woman that nag all the time is like a faucet with a drip that just won't stop. She started nagging him, and still he would play these games to see what she's going to do with the knowledge. And at one time, she even had guards to appear because she thought that he was telling the truth. So weaknesses in his personality, weaknesses in his character. He was really playing the game of a fool because he was putting all his strength, all his hope, all his wisdom, and his physical ability versus having moral and character and personality strength. Well, you know the story. She has him to lay her head on her lap. And as he slept, she cut his hair. My next question would be, do you have a circumstance going on in your life where they have you in a weak place? Have you in a vulnerable place? That how am I going to get out of this position? You may be saying to yourself. To lay your head in the lap of a woman who mean you no good is a very dangerous position. It is the most vulnerable place you can be. So whether it's woman or circumstance for you, you need a way of escape. He who I serve, who I love. That's what the to serve with love is all about, that you may understand how men of old had to deal and endure in order to get victory. That's what I hope that you will get from what my offerings are to you, to learn of those men so you can compare them to you. Samson, you may have physical strength, but is it supernatural? You got strength of some sort. You got weaknesses, but are you adhering to those weaknesses? Or do your ego have you thinking, hey, I got it. There's no weakness in me. Are you playing a dangerous and foolish game? Do you need help? The way of escape out of a vulnerable position, regardless to what type it is. Today, I want you to remember Samson, that after his life took a turn for the worse, that he found mercy in God once again, because your enemy don't have more wisdom than God. They cut his hair. They chain him. They put him in the dungeon, but they were not smart enough to keep his hair cut off. His hair started to grow. Even though he was blinded, the enemy was foolish enough to send a little boy to do a man's job. When the whole Colosseum was filled, the Bible says that a young lad led Samson to where he was supposed to be. And Samson told the little boy where to position him. See, the enemy can't outthink God. Never sent a boy to do a man's job. But no, they figured he was down for the count. But the little boy followed Samson's direction because he's a child. And God allowed Samson to do more in his death than he did in his living. To serve with love is not only about the life and lessons of men, but it's about the legacy they leave. You do not have to leave a legacy that was more powerful in death than in life. You do not have to have lived a life to learn from it, but you can take keys, principles, and add them to you to see how can you go further? What can you do better that you may be the man that God intended? Today, the man in the spotlight was Samson. In 2025, you, the man, you're in the spotlight. And I expect to hear great reports that change have come to you, that make you stop and realize, hey, listen, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I wish you